Hello, everybody.
Sorry, I wasn't expecting to see my mug just up in front center. I
What's
was
up,
like,
girl?
ah.
You. I just want to say we are so excited to talk about this episode. It's like not even funny.
We were
We're
geeking out.
gassed.
Yes, we are.
Absolutely gassed.
All
There
right, I
was.
want to say hi to a few people in the chat. I know because we got a lot to talk about, so let's get some
Let's get
hellos.
this ball rolling.
Yeah, we got drunk ASWAF history
Hey,
in the
Chloe.
chat.
Clo
Hi,
Clo.
Chloe. Hi, Chloe. We have Mackenzie Manderly. We have a few super chats already. I'll get to those very shortly. We have Mother of Macers in the chat. We have V. We have Fred Hampton is my hero. Great name. Just want to throw that out there. We got Carrie in the chat. We have Red Lipstick Club podcast. What's up? What's up?
We love to see it.
Yes, and we got China Moon. Hello. We got a lot of people here tonight already. Let's get into these super chats, I guess, real quick. From the movie buff, thank you. Eve Best ate in this episode.
And
How'd you feel about Mom? How did you
She's
feel
like
about Mom?
she's basically the hand of the queen at this point. Like the way that Rhaenyra just looks to her before every decision is everything to me. She's everything to me. She's mother.
Yeah. I like that's when she's at the council and she's like, let me remind you, Rhaenyra wears the crown of Jaehaerys Targaryen, the wisest of Targaryen's kings that even outlived Aegon the Conqueror, because everybody's trying to get Rhaenyra to like burn everything like Aegon the Conqueror. Loose the dragons. I wanted him to shut up. Like every time he talks, he's like, loose the dragons, loose the dragons. And it's like, do you have any strategy other than loosing the dragons?
Because they know they
Last
don't
time I
really have
checked,
an army yet. It's their only leg to stand on.
Yeah, but she clocked it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
loved it.
Very
No,
big I
she
said
ate.
what I said energy. Or she said what she said.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell she's kind of the matriarch of the Targaryens, seeing
Mhm.
as she is the eldest.
Mhm. Eldest
We have
raised
another
by the
super.
eldest.
Should be queen. From K Dev Ill, thank you for the super chat. Moon Dancer and Bela were giving. Also bars when Rhaenys bat Rhaenyra up on that council meeting. Blood runs hot.
Mhm.
Can we? Y'all.
Moon Dancer is a very pretty dragon.
So freaking cute. So freaking cute.
It'll be quite the shame.
I will never have anyone say that Bela is not Damon's kid, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
So
she
The
is
way that
Damon's
Damon's
kid,
Rhaenyra
hold
looked
on.
at her too was such a God.
Hold on. Oh wait, go. Say what you're gonna say.
Oh, the way that Rhaenyra looked at Bela is very reminiscent of how she would, not so much as like when it turned out when she was looking at Daemon, like, did you chop off that boy's head? But that very like, you for real? And she's like, I didn't engage. Really? I mean, not really. You know,
I was
I
gonna
love
say
Bela.
Bela to me is Lena's daughter. Is that?
Oh,
I mean, yeah, of course, because she came out of Lena's coochie,
you
but
can't.
But no,
The way you try to
girl.
work around getting flagged.
she is defiant.
Call it a
She's
snatch, like
defiant, just
everybody
like
else.
Damon. Like I feel like
She is
Lena would
divine
listen.
like Damon.
I feel like Lena would listen.
Mm,
Eh,
mm.
eh.
Lena was a Spitfire, but in the books they make so many parallels from. I think when it comes down to it, Bela is the child of both Damon and Lena. Like they're both in there.
Oh, definitely.
So Raina, I felt so bad for her. She was not happy. But if I recall correctly, in the books, isn't she technically the very last dragon rider?
Raina.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, so we're doing spoilers here. Welcome. We do spoilers. Yes, she is.
Are we?
Welcome.
I thought we were
Spoilers.
I thought. Oh.
No, I know, but just in case anybody's new here, Alisha, we do
Oh.
have some new people joining us tonight. It might be their first time listening in, so we should let them know that we do spoilers after we just ripped off a big one.
Years and years down the road, y'all. Years and years upon years. Nothing to do with this story at all.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's we have another super
Damn,
chat
I'm
from
good at this.
Red Lipstick Club Podcast. Oh, Alicia. Come on, ladies, looking stunning. I can't believe Allison. WTF. All right, I have some positive things to say about Allison in this episode, surprisingly. Surprisingly.
I have positive things to say. I have negative things to say because there's that part of me. It's really hard on a first reaction. I'm so used to when we do this. It's like after the fact and I have time to stew on it. But right now where I'm
Yeah.
sitting is like back and forth between frustration because when it comes down to it, like, girl, you did start this. Like, good intentions, yes, but oh, the road to hell. Like, you started all of this and now she's in a situation where she has absolutely zero control. She's watching everything spiral, and then just we'll get to the scene in the sept, later on in the stream, but she just realized she made a really big boo-boo. But at the same time, how was she supposed to know about the prophecy of Aunt? I don't know. There was a lot going back and forth. It's like she wants to do damage control, but it's like, girl, you did this. Like, you opened up Pandora's jar here, and you're mad because all the spirits aren't coming back into the jar because you're telling them to. Like, I don't know. I felt bad for her, but then I'm like, well, oh, the web we weave, little girl.
Yeah, I agree a lot with most of what you said. The only thing I really, really enjoyed was her and Gwen. I was like, oh, you guys definitely give me Sib vibes. Like they act like a brother and sister.
I
Like how
love.
he was just reading Chris and Cole for Phil.
I,
I was like, and
I
she was just
might.
like, I mean, what do you want me to say? He's my brother. Like that's kind of the vibe I got from her. Like, what do you want me to? He's right.
I might
But
end up being maybe not a stan, but I might end up being a little bit of a Gwent fan just because he's so
oh,
no,
okay,
because at the end of it,
me
he's
too.
like,
I
thank
like
you,
Wayne. I like
Sir
Wayne.
Kristen. You saved me. You know, but he was
But he
just
did
like,
like
yeah, you suck.
begrudgingly though. Like
Yeah.
begrudgingly though. He
I
wasn't like really
definitely
trying to do it.
the way Kristen Cole was going, I definitely thought Cole was gonna like smother him in his sleep at some point or something. It was just
Oh yeah.
he's so psychopathic. But
I think Allison is absolutely insane. But I also think there's nothing she can do at this point. Like, she can't go back in the Red Keep like, oh, never mind. You're not the king anymore. Like, there's nothing she can do.
Yeah, cat's out of the bag. Not much
it was
to do
redacting
from
at
there.
the
It's
end.
kind
Yeah.
of.
But I
Yeah, it's
also
kinda
wanted
stupid.
Rhaenyra to go ahead and stab her when she was like, so you're here to surrender? You don't have an army. There are no terms now.
That was a lover's spat in that
Yeah, they
set.
were like really fighting like exes.
Like,
Yeah.
and then
When
what are you
Rhaenyra
gonna
was
do? And Rhaenyra's like, I don't know.
I've
Like,
begun badly. We've begun badly.
Yeah, we began badly. We began badly.
But
What'd you
like
get
it
this?
to me, it's absolutely beneath her to dress as a fucking septa and go into King's Landing and beg. Like, you're the I don't like it. Like,
We'll
I
get
like
to that.
it, but I don't like it.
We'll get
Yeah.
to that. I need more time to think about it because while they were going to the sept, no, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. We do have another super chat from Rob Williams I wanted to get to. Speaking of costumes, I really did enjoy the costumes in this episode. The wardrobe department is killing it. Damon's helmet, Rhaenyra's fit. Yeah, I'm here for Damon's armor. Like, look at the robe prints.
I'm so glad he got rid of the freaking tassels.
Your Grace.
The tassels were not the tassels at the top.
Well, that was
the plume. The plume was killing me.
Plume. That was for tourneys, though. That was a very tournament.
Because didn't he wear it in the stepstones?
Everyone looks for a reason not to like him, and his plume. Really?
I didn't say I didn't like him.
Well, it was raining, so you can't really wear it in the rain.
I'm just saying, like, the helmet's not giving in prior episodes.
Sorry,
it was a good helmet.
Subject,
Okay.
Subject.
Alicia, really do this comment from Carla.
I didn't like the plume. He could do like a helicopter head with it.
Alicia,
the welders are doing better.
You know what though?
No,
I need no. I will tweet receipts. MJ text me, Gray text me, and she said, "Oh, you might be right about the welders." And I
sent her I sent her a picture of the Iron Throne, the one where Aegon's like just laying over it, and the swords look like rubber, like some
I didn't have
DIY
that ready.
Pinterest type shit. Yeah,
Didn't have that ready for right now.
sorry.
With the
Didn't know this
recorder
was
playing,
recording.
My Heart Will Go On in the background during the DIY tutorial.
Yes.
Okay, I'll stop. It's not nice
All right, we
to the
have.
welders.
I was gonna say,
But
you know what else is
yes,
not
I
nice?
am liking the
No,
costuming
know what
this
else,
episode.
Alicia, you know what else isn't nice? The
Mm.
beef between the Brackens and the
What isn't
Blackwoods.
nice?
Oh, look at that segue. The beef, the
Oh my
familial beef.
gosh, that was
Brackens and
I was-
Blackwoods.
I
They're
didn't
like
know where
the
that was
Bloods and
going
Crips
until I
of
saw all the
Westeros.
bodies, and I'm like, oh,
All right, I like how they handled the Battle of the Burning Mill. I just want to get that like out the gate. Loved it.
I feel like
'Cause
people are gonna hate it.
I liked it because
For
honestly,
real.
they don't have the money to show every single battle, guys. Let's be realistic. I think it was smart, kind of showing it as a little like starts off as a little quarrel between
All their money is going into dragon battles.
Because we don't even see
exactly.
the dragons, to be frank. We barely
We
see
do.
them.
Okay, barely, but girl, budget. There's only but so much you could do in budget and post op. But I did want to, all right, get into the Blackwoods and Brackens for a wee bit. I wanted to bring up, you know what this reminded me of, and I'm pretty sure they did this on purpose. This artwork of Bloody Ben. No,
Is that Bloody Ben? Because the
it's not.
caption-
This is not. This is not Bloody Ben. This is not. But the artwork is a Bloody Ben, and I feel like they use this as a reference for that. Get what I'm saying? Like art and stuff.
Oh, like concept.
But yeah, no, that's Davos Blackwood. That was not Bloody Ben.
That's sad.
But yeah, and I'm pretty sure he did. And the Bracken. So we had Aaron Bracken.
Yeah, he had the sword through his throat.
Yeah, and one thing I did like that is reflected here is the fact that Rhaenys mentions about how with her discussion with Rhaenyra is the longer time goes on and the more that happens in the war, the less people are gonna remember what started it. And we see that echoed with the Brackens and the Blackwoods because they mentioned later in the episode, like, we don't, what are they even fighting about? Like, where did this all start? And no one knows. But it's always on site. Yep, it's always on site with the Blackwoods and the Brackens.
Mm-hmm.
Question for you guys: are you guys a Blackwood or a Bracken?
Do
Like, how do you
Bracken
guys feel?
fans
Blackwood.
even exist? Do
I don't think
that's
so.
a real question.
I've
do
found
Bracken fans
listen, I
exist?
found them in the wild. And surprise, surprise, they're your favorite Targaryen types. It's so boring to like the Blackwoods. Maybe because they're not DICK heads. I don't know.
How about this? If you're a Bracken fan, throw like a little pony in the chat, and if you're a Blackwood fan, throw like either like a black heart.
Be petty and block you.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do
so we can weed
I wouldn't do
them
all
out.
that. I'm just saying, personally, the only Bracken fans I've seen are like, I like the Brackens because everybody likes the Blackwoods. It's like,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
no good reason.
Well, they're Mrs. Bracken who?
Thank
you. But if you are a Bracken fan, you are welcome here as well. Sorry if we're a little biased, but we like magic, and the Blackwoods are full of magic. So
I can accept a lot of things, but I draw the line at Bracken fans. No, not really. It doesn't mean that much to me. I just don't see a whole lot in the wild unless they're like, usually they're team greeners. So
yeah, and it's interesting that you mentioned that because that's how the fight starts. Is Aaron just says like, "Oh, what is it, Babe Slayer, Kinslayer," about Rhaenyra.
that kid was just not fully committed to drawing that sword. Look at his face. He's like, "Oh crap, I gotta do it."
He didn't want to.
Dost thou bite thy thumb at thee?
He was scared. He was like the size of River Run.
It was very intro to Romeo and Juliet, like the Montagues and the Capulets.
We didn't move the stones.
Put the stones back.
We never touched them.
This here is our mill. Yeah.
Obviously we can't show a still of the battle scene because that's not appropriate for YouTube.
But we did lose our boy Samwell.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
R.I.P.
Rip.
R.I.P. Sammy boy.
Sweet
Also, I
Samuel?
like I kind of just want to get this mentioned. I like how they talked about Mr. Grover Tully and his incompetence because he's just old.
And
And then we're gonna meet the rest of the Muppets. Yeah, we get to meet the rest of the Muppets soon.
Muppet baby.
And he what?
He can't hold his poo.
That's what they were talking about, his incontinence.
It's good.
He can no longer seal his bowels.
So we have a super chat.
We do. I was just about to get to that, Alisha. We have a super chat from Akeem Wade. Do you think Sir Otto and his brother will plot with the Macers to kill the dragon since he can't control his grandkids?
Do you think, and I realize this is very tinfoil, but I'm going to have fun with it anyway. Do you think in the same way that in the show, the Targaryen heir knows about the Aegon prophecy, you know, the Song of Ice and Fire, the way they pass it down between Targaryen heirs, do you think that the Hightower heirs pass down their own little tradition to be in league with the Citadel?
No.
Ooh.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's their thing. That's like, it's like widely, I don't think it's a secret. They're like protector of the Citadel.
Well, I mean, obviously the Hightowers have been around longer than the Targaryens have ruled Westeros, but I do wonder if they have like their own thing going and they don't understand the Song of Ice and Fire, so they think they're protecting the continent. I don't know.
By killing all the Targaryens and their dragons?
Like maybe they have a different prophecy that they're going off of potentially.
Yeah,
or
so
different,
yeah, and I don't know if like the Targaryens were part of that prophecy per se because the Hightowers had been there for thousands of years. It's just that once the Targaryens came along, whatever their prophecy might be, it was not in league with their interests. So they're actively always trying to, I don't know. It's just
both times the Targaryens fought each other, a Hightower bride was involved. Maegor married Cerise Hightower.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are with Alicent Hightower.
Not that far removed.
I don't think
events.
It's
coincidence. I think.
Do you know what I just realized? This episode starts out with him playing with that dagger, and it ends with Alicent realizing she girl bossed a little too close to the sun.
a little bit.
Rhaenyra should have like told her, well, you know, my dad's sword that you gave your little idiot son, hold it to the fire.
No, don't give her all that.
No, but she would have known for sure that there was a mistake. Like I feel like that's gonna eat her up. That's gonna eat her.
We'll get to it because there's a lot that I want to. Yeah, we'll get to it.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that because I have a question. But like, yeah, let's get to one more super chat, and then I want to move on to the funeral for a second. So we have a super chat from Emily Christina. Thank you. The new costume designer previously worked on Downton Abbey, so that's why everyone's wardrobe has improved this season. I love Rhaenyra's wardrobe. Yeah, it's definitely been a step up, like significant step up from last season, in my opinion. Like I like Bela and Rhaena's incorporating the like the blues, like this fit. I don't know, it gives kind of like some Damon-y if he was a girl and that was his daughter.
Is the costume designer this season the same as last season? Because I was really thinking about how Jace got a glow up this season in his wardrobe, in his hair, in his posture.
Everything about Jace like improved this season.
Glowed up. He's looking like his father's son more and more.
Little baby break.
Albeit shorter and scrawnier, you know. But
yeah. Oh, I can't wait to get into talking about his daddy in a little bit. But speaking of family, so we get this little funeral with the twins.
I think one of the reasons they buried them together is they don't know who's who.
You know what?
they know who was who. I think it was a giveaway when Eric was like, "Forgive me, my queen," you know, doink. But one thing I did notice, and it might be skipping around a bit because I know we want to talk about, you know, Rhaenys urging Rhaenyra to read that letter and beseech Alicent, but They went from this and they cut scene to Kristen Cole, like, hovering over
Sulking.
his chair. And the way they cut scene, he's basically like looking down on them because this was his doing. I just liked that switch of scenes. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't have the only other thing about the funeral I wanted to mention was the fact that Jace was like his like traitor brother shouldn't even have the honor of being buried with him. And how it seems like all the boys are very, very quick to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like even Rhaenyra's sons are like ready to go and like scrap. But actually, I do want to get into Kristen. So Kristen is getting ready for his first small council meeting. He's handed the king. He's also late. Do you think he was in the Tower of the Hand and this was just his first night and his new digs and that's why he was late for the meeting? He didn't know like how long the walk was going to be versus like, the what I just drew a blank. The tower that the King's Guard stays in. What is it called again?
Not that I care about
White
his.
Sword Tower.
Thank you. I think it's a different commute from there versus the Tower of the Hand. Or do you think he didn't move at all? Like he just kept his old rooms?
I think that's Otto's old room. If you look at the digs, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I was looking down and tweeting when that kid came in and he's like, Sahand. Not that I care about his whittle feelings, but I think a couple things are going on here. He's trying to deal with the gravity of the change of station, especially since he's really big on, I came from nothing. My white cloth is all I have. And then just like he's hand of the king, and also I think he's realizing that he's causing all this. Yeah, he has to save face to be like, well, it was Sir Arik's fault because he's not smooth enough. Like Kristen knows this is getting out of control.
Yeah, he does.
He's just like flying by the seat of his pants. He's making it up as he goes along. We got another super chat.
We do. Hold on, I was trying to gear something up first before we got right into that one. Hold on. All right, we're just gonna chat it up a bit because I have to do a little quick little some.
Great. I excel at
I'm
this.
All right, I'm gonna bring up the super chat if you would like to read that while I do a little maintenance.
From V, thoughts about Balon the Brave having bastards. Not a fan of this, Ulf. Not a fan of this. Ulf gotta be lying. I don't know. I think
Balon was so in love with Alyssa.
because
like
ultimately, because
I don't like it either.
ultimately Ulf was able. Spoilers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ultimately, Ulf was able to ride a dragon. So, because I really don't like it. Oh, Portuguese. I really don't like it when.
We're working very quickly here. This was not.
No, I got excited.
Oh, sorry. This is what I could do on short notice, guys.
One thing I do get, like, I think he is one of those people that always tells tall tales. I think that he has the feeling he has Targaryen blood, but he's just kind of being like, oh, I have. And for all we know, he could be an offshoot of like a Velaryon branch or whatever. He's just one of those people that like gets drunk, goes to taverns, and he's like, did I tell you about that one time? Like, how like in high school and middle school, we all knew a pathological liar, like lies for no freaking reason. Or the really young person you work with, it's like, sorry, I'm late. I like got attacked by wolves on my way to my car. Like, that's awful.
Know what I
You
thought
buy
of,
me a drink or what? I
actually?
had a really stressful day.
Know what I just thought of actually, since Duncan Egg is getting ready to come out. The wannabe Fireball's kid. What was the boy's name?
Fireball.
He said, like, he's like,
oh no.
Is it Fireball? He's like, I'm Quentin Ball's bass. Oh, can I say? I don't know. Illegitimate child. I don't know.
What's the proper term?
YouTube's really weird about. Girl, it's an illegitimate child is, I think, good enough. Child of Glendon.
Scrotum.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Glendon Ball.
Balls. Okay.
But yeah, I think he could be Balon's baby, and the only reason why I say that is, as we saw with Aemond and Aegon and other princelings like Rhaenyra, well, princess, I guess, Rhaenyra, and then Daemon and Viserys, frequenting the streets of Silk seems to be very common and traditional for Targaryens. So, just maybe, young Balon just learning how to swim, didn't know when it was time to come out of the water, and
Question.
left a dragon seed behind. I hope you guys
Question.
caught that was
Who
written down.
I don't remember, and there's gonna be someone out there that's like fake fan. Who died? Alyssa died first, right? Did Alyssa or
I
Balon
believe
die?
so. I
So
believe it
it's not
was
cheating if she's
Alyssa.
dead. It's not cheating if she's just saying.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
Not 100% positive on that one. I'll be 1,000%. Yeah. So thank you, Michael David. Yes, Alyssa did die first.
We can always depend on Michael. Shout out to Michael just because we love him infinitely. And he holds it down in the chat also.
Yeah.
So
Oh, sorry. Actually, Sandra Days brought up a good question. Would Ulf be older brother?
maybe it's hard.
Maybe in betweeny. I would think he might be younger than Daemon or close in age to Daemon. But actually, if my guesstimate of he was, just getting himself a little wet before committing, if you catch my drift, then yes, he'd be older.
Didn't they marry
But if
when
he
they
was
were like
post,
teens?
Serious
Like young
question.
teens, puberty,
girl,
I want to say.
as long as the squirt gun works, it doesn't matter.
There's just I realized I
have a serious
I want to
question.
move on. I want to move on.
I'm not. I
Listen,
want to
immediately.
say.
I want to move on.
No, tag in. Serious question. Yes.
So serious question. If he is Balon's son, and Daemon is Balon's son, and Viserys is Balon's son, and Rhaenyra is of that same blood, and all of Alicent's children is of that same blood, why is Viserys the only one whose body literally fell apart? Like, why does
That's
no one else
because
have health issues? Like, was he literally poisoned by the Maesters or something? Because
There is a whole lot of talk.
thoughts.
Spew them.
Okay, my thoughts. Yeah, so after he killed his wife, I believe he was cursed by the gods and they took it out on him. And that's why his wounds would not heal, because he gave her a wound that would never heal.
He does have that cut. They were talking about how it's not healing and it's getting worse
Also-
before Aemma died. So I think he did have the wound, but I don't think the Maesters were quite taking care of him, because if you remember, that new Maester came along and he was arguing with the old one about how to heal. So I think a lot of it progressed as bad as it did because of like Maester malpractice.
yeah.
Also,
And I
poor
do think the gods were
sanitation.
punishing him also, because whatever. I don't care about his feelings either because of what he did to Aemma.
Agreed.
Next, but no, Ulf, I feel like, even though I know where it's going with Ulf, I feel like we're going to have a good time with him because he's that pathological lying person. Like, oh my God,
Yeah.
you won't believe what happened to me on the way to Dragonstone. I was accosted by eels. I was literally accosted.
I did like him supporting Rhaenyra and him being like, and my nephew Jace.
Me
The
too.
dude's like, here's your other nephew.
Did I tell you David Bowie was my godfather? He was literally my godfather. I'm gonna love Ulf, I think. So one thing's for sure, both Hugh.
I definitely don't like Hugh or Ulf in the books.
No one does.
No.
We didn't think we'd like Aemond at all.
And
until
you speak for yourselves. Speaking of books, we have another super chat from David H. Did this Rhaenyra and Alicent meetup happen in the books?
No.
No.
Because in the books, Rhaenyra and Alicent are further apart in age and they hate each other. So no, not at all. Did not happen. Because if they did, somebody would have died.
Yeah.
Easy answer there.
Thanks for the super chat.
But thank you for the super chat. I mean, I think it brings an interesting dynamic.
Oh, we got another one, and I want to answer this.
Okay.
Yes.
I did
Yes.
not have a picture of Sea Smoke. Sea Smoke.
Was
ready
Sea
to go.
Smoke
I'm
acting
sorry.
weird because he senses Laenor is dead? That was my interpretation, personally.
Oh, I like that.
That's not gonna do it for me. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, no, it's hurtful to me too. I just tweeted how it upset me, but you know, I think
That's
maybe
poor.
we'll
It's
get information.
poor.
I know.
If that's the only thing, like if they're leading up to that, fine. But if that's the only thing, that's poor writing. I think, in my opinion.
I feel like it's a combination of Laenor died as well as he's trying to find his new baby boo, Adam. I think he thinks Adam's a tease,
Mm.
and they're playing cat and mouse right now. He's like, "Oh, where's my baby? Where's my new boo?" That's how I feel.
We all feel
I
that
feel
way
like he's
about
been
Adam of
lonely.
Hull. We all feel that way about Adam of Hull. Let's be honest.
Okay, maybe I'm just projecting my own feelings.
He's all of our boo at this point. That
I'm projecting
smile.
my feelings onto Sea Smoke.
I am Sea Smoke.
I am blood of the dragon.
We're all Sea Smoke. But no, I saw that Fernando said something in the chat because I had this thought too. Did you notice that was Diana in the brothel that got her butt slapped?
I did not notice that.
Diana from season 1 that Allison basically gave hush money to. Like, I'm so sorry my son did this. My fear is people will think you're a slut skank. So you should probably not tell people. That was her.
I did not even realize that.
I think the reason that they are recycling so many old faces is they really want to put faces to these small folk that are heavily affected by. Because I think the Shepherd arc is going to be really big within the show.
Oh,
Can I
think it's
respond
gonna.
to this comment? The Westerosi Ninja?
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah, she's saying her late Lord husband because he's supposed to be dead, but not really. We've seen him escape.
Well, she has to tell the world that he is dead because otherwise her marriage to Daemon is not legitimate.
And she bigamous.
She has
oh,
more.
You know what though? She is polygamous. She's Valyrian. You're right. It's legit.
I didn't say polygamous. I said bigamous. Like she's not supposed to do that, but I forgot they are Targaryen, so she can be polygamous.
They do what they want. And that's why
they do what they want. Yes, they do.
I'm a Targaryen. Okay, I'll stop.
All right. Speaking of Targaryens, let's get into the Green Council a little bit more because I wanted to talk about how I like the difference between Rhaenyra's council and Aegon's council about how everybody's like, yeah, let's go to war. And Aegon's like, yeah, let's do it. But Allison's like, hey, let's maybe like chill out for like 30 seconds. I find it interesting that Allison's like the only one on the Green Council that seems to have a more cooler head. Like everybody else seems like ready to just like go to war.
I sure hope so because she did this crap.
Yeah, good point. She got everybody all riled up and is like, hey guys, chill out. Like it's not that deep.
They were definitely there's a lot. Like I don't know how I feel about Iron Rod in general. Like of course, because I'm a team black girly, I want to be like, you usurp the throne, but he does have a lot of zingers.
He does. Oh, he's good with his one-liners. He did mention Daeron again and how they are in Old Town. So Daeron and Ormond are in Old Town. From what I've read up on, he has not been cast, so therefore he's not going to be in season 2. I'm assuming we're going to get him in early season 3. I wouldn't be surprised opening scene in season 3 is Daeron and Ormond in Old Town or something like that.
At this point,
I'm kind of over
it. At this point, I don't want him. Like you had it. Like at this point, he's just going to be so sloppily introduced. They could prove me wrong, and they have before. You know, in both good and bad ways. You know.
Yeah.
This point, like if he's a afterthought, like he's not even mentioned until the second season, like put it back. I don't want it. Like you already fumbled the bag. So
yeah. Oh, I wanted to bring up this comment from Blake Bettis. Green Kingsguard turned into frat boys. Can we talk about how like the decline of the Kingsguard. It's kind of funny to me that the Kingsguard and like the Night's Watch are somewhat reversed at this point. So you know how like the Night's Watch at like from what we've seen in House of the Dragon is like this great honor, and we saw that in episode 1 and how like it's this big thing in the North to be selected. But obviously them splitting the the house into 2 parts. The 7 members of the Kingsguard are going to kind of pick their respective heir to back up, so they have to kind of fill in those other spots. But Aegon's like fill-ins just seem to be just a bunch of yes men, frat boys. They're like sitting down when they're supposed to be working. Like Chris and Cole had the audacity to sit there and talk about Eric's coat be getting dirty, and he's not gonna sit there and talk about those 2 boys sitting down
I
on the
think he
steps.
realized he made, in the words of Arrested Development, I've made a huge mistake. Like, I think he realizes it now, and I think that's why they had him in. Again, I don't care about his feelings, but it's what they're
Yeah.
presenting. I think it's why they had him in his quarters, kind of like looking
All sad boy.
down. Yeah, and then immediately he comes out, and I think he realizes, like, nope, I don't know. One thing I do want to talk about is when they were talking about the new squire and how they wanted to get him acquainted with ladies of the night.
Oh, yeah, that was
Aegon's response was like, "But you're supposed to, you're supposed to be celibate." And I think there was that moment of realization he had that I think Otto's words are kind of haunting him a little bit. Like his reign is a little bit of a sham. Like even his Kingsguard suck,
Yeah.
But then he was, yeah, let's go. Let's go act like arses.
Sorry, this comment from the Westerosi Ninja Wonder.
There
Squire
can
got the
only be
Podrick
one
treatment.
Podrick.
Only one. Only one. But yeah, I do think Otto was right. His reign is a joke. Like the fact that they're laughing in his face, like Chastity. Kill this guy. Do you know who the Lord Commander
They're
is?
like,
He's
unless you
fucking
want
your
us to be.
mom.
Yeah.
He's like,
I think
wait, you're
everybody
being
knows. I
serious.
think everybody knows the Kingsguard
Laura's
is not
kept serious.
chaste. Like, name one virgin. Okay, Barristan Selmy. He had big virgin energy. But I mean,
Yeah, I think what Westerling might be in that boat too.
yeah, I was just
Also,
on
where
Tony's
is
stream earlier.
Westerling? You guys
I
were
was just
talking
on
about
Tony's
that.
stream earlier, and we were talking about like no one knows. He just.
Thank you, Elizabeth, by the way.
He died off
I think
screen.
he will. I think he will come back because that actor.
I'm sorry, hold on. Girl, you can't say something like that and go mute. Say that again.
I said he died off screen.
Are you for real?
Bro, he's been dead for years in the books. Like,
in the books, yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I suppose if they're willing to do that to Laenor, they would do it to. I want to believe they cast too good of an actor. Of course, I felt that way about Laenor too. So
he may pop back up at the end because he basically said, "I have no place here until there is actually a king."
And
he loved Rhaenyra, so he knows.
Yeah, why is he not in Dragonstone?
Yeah, I don't know what his deal is.
Maybe he wants no part in a civil war.
Yeah, if I was him, I'd just dip. I'm going to Essos. Bye.
Yeah.
Oh, Bravos. A shy by the shadow.
Speaking of places where people want to go, I love how everybody wants to get to Harrenhal. Like even on Aegon's council, they're like, "We need to get to Harrenhal." Like Crispin mentions that.
Too late. You're too late.
Too late, losers. Too late, losers.
When do we get to talk about Harrenhal?
Oh my God. No, let's just go into it. Can we get
let's
into it? We're gonna be here for all day, so we might as well just like get started. Like, hold on. Don't worry. So actually, let's get into Harrenhal while it's important. I got a little map. Ooh, look at my map. Got a map.
Oh, there's High Heart. There's High Heart.
We have Alisha's home, which is here. Alisha lives here on the map.
Yeah.
So we. Oh, I wish you could see Dragonstone like over in the outskirts over here.
It's
so yeah,
right,
got King's
right
Landing.
across from Rook's Rest.
Yep. So we got Harrenhal. So actually, yeah, we can kind of point to where everybody is right now. So we got Daemon over here in Harrenhal. Right here. You see him right here. So this area right here, this is where that Battle of the Burning Mill was kind of happening over here. which is not that far from Damon.
We can't
We got
see
Crispin.
can't see what you're doing.
Oh, you guys. Oh my God, only I can see it. Wait. Oh my God, that's so silly.
I was
I'm
following
sorry,
though. I was
guys.
like, yeah.
I just realized y'all
Yeah.
can't see that. My bad. That's funny.
Between Raventree Hall and Stonehenge.
Yep. I can't believe I
That's
didn't
where the
realize
Battle
Mouse
of the
was only for
Burning
me.
Mill was.
29.
Yeah.
29.
29.
Around 29.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They got numbers.
God,
Yeah,
we're
29. Nerds. But yeah, so this is important. Oh, we got super chat from Fernando before we get into the hair and all. Thank you, Fernando. I think I think the season will end with a gullet so that we open with honey wine, which is Darren's first battle.
We're not getting the gullet this season. There's no way.
I'm not ready for it anyway.
I'm big on gullet's going to be season 3 only because I think they really want to build up Jace's character. That way, when the gullet does happen, it literally is like a crossbow to the heart.
Yeah.
Like what I did there?
Yeah.
But yeah, it gonna hurt. But no, it doesn't hurt. Damon and Harrenhal, that doesn't hurt.
I have some thoughts that MJ's gonna hate me for.
Well, let me talk about Harrenhal first.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best Harrenhal has ever looked.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, any artwork that I've seen. This is how, like, when I'm reading A Song of Ice and Fire, I imagine Harrenhal like this. Creepy, scary, like cavernous. The weirwoods growing through the castle, like in the actual foundation, and then how close they put the weirwood and the castle itself to the God's Eye is like more book accurate than I've ever seen it. And I love it.
Yeah, I like how dreary it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's very dreary, it's wet, it's damp. And I like that they use that when the Castellan, hold on, let me pull it up to get his name. The Strong. Sir Simon Strong. Yes, Sir Simon Strong. He is Lionel's uncle. Mentions how the last time there was a fire, besides the one that killed Lord Lionel and Harwin, was when Aegon came through and decided to put it to the torch. And we could still see the remnants of that. Like, I like how the open, like, chasm type of ceiling that they got going on in the Great Hall, like when Damon's walking through. Feels like a horror movie.
Yes. It's so good.
Oh, I like this comment from John Haymaker. I thought Damon was going to see the twins from The Shining and Harrenhal. Like, honestly, I did too. It was so creepy in there.
But how badass you have to be to just roll up on your dragon and go in there by yourself and take that castle. Like, he doesn't know how many people are in there. He doesn't know. He just goes in there.
Okay, he was gearing up for a fight because the one guard he ran into was immediately like, "Oh no, we're good," and he's like, "I'm gonna knock you out anyway." Because I'm Damon. I'm Damon, goddamn Targaryen.
Just because I feel like it. No, I like it.
I've been over here the whole time, just really fighting off WAP references in regards to Harrenhal, just shifting around in my head. What could the P be?
Oh my God, girl.
Wet ass portcullis. But anyway, what I really loved about this scene is even though, like, I really thought I was watching a horror movie. I don't watch them much, but I was expecting a jump scare, knowing good and well I probably wasn't going to get one. I do think that Ryan Condal kind of understands the assignment because most people that do deep analysis of George say he definitely gets in his horror writing bag in certain aspects of the books. So, I mean, it was done really, really well. I did love the weirwoods kind of out in and out of the foundations as well. I even loved, I do want to talk about Alice Rivers and her introduction. Unless that's skipping a bit. Because when he goes in and he sees Simon Strong, he's just kind of like that whole thing. And I'm sorry, MJ, and I love Damon too, but he had small PP energy at that table.
Really?
Like I'm not saying he did because
Because
he's
he didn't
like
want to eat the peas.
no, because he's like I'm a king. Yeah. But like
I
even
know it's
Rhaenyra refers to
diva.
him as Prince Guy. He's like,
Honestly, I
Diva,
feel
you
like
ain't no
it's not point.
diva.
I'm married
Your
to the
grace.
queen. I'm married to the
honestly
queen. It's
it
Prince.
reminds me of his role as Prince Philip in The Crown.
There you go. He's got this. He just kept like getting so upset because he's like, my prince, you're great. He's like, he was so mad, and he's the only one that calls himself a king. Because even at
Yeah.
Rhaenyra's council, they kept referring to him as prince. But when he first comes into the room where they're eating dinner, Alice Rivers comes out immediately. And I will say so many thoughts about Alice Rivers. But like seeing her, I'm like, wow, she has the presence because I know a lot of people were really mad about her casting. And I really believe she's going to blow it out of the water. So it shows her, I'm like, yep, she's got it. And then it shows him at the weirwood after having that weirwood dream, and she's just standing there. And before she says anything, I'm like, she's gonna nail this. And then we get, you're gonna die here. And then she pulls Zoe from Futurama, just like like off screen. It was a little much for
I
me. Like,
liked it.
what?
I thought she was
I liked
creepy.
it.
I
Yeah,
didn't
just a
think it was
little
creepy. I
weirdo.
just thought it was like, yeah. Like, was
I was gonna
that an
say,
American accent? Was that an Irish accent? It was just it was
You'll die in this place.
yeah, you'll die in
yeah,
this
it was
place.
very. I
Bye.
mean, yeah, but so, I actually want to get to two super chats that we had. We have one from Michael David. Do you think we'll get a cameo haunting of Rena? Is that supposed to be Rena
Raina.
or Lena? Oh,
Mhm.
I don't know.
is it? I don't know. Do you mind like a you don't have to do another super chat, but just like elaborate a little bit on what you mean by that.
Lena? Y-
That's what I was thinking of because I sorry, I don't have an image of it, but also because it was creepy. The Millie cameo,
Yeah.
And
loved it. With the
it was so
had to
spot
clean up your
on.
mess.
Oh, Raina, Dreamfight, Raina Targaryen, Maegor the Cruel's mini. Yeah. Jaehaerys' older sister, Raina.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
One of the Black Brides.
I want all the Targaryen
Ooh,
flashbacks. I think one of the reasons they're scared of it is because they're doing this whole like anthology of spin-off shows,
yeah.
So I feel like they're afraid of casting in this show any other Targaryens because then they're going to have to go and do them later. And you know how people get about these smallest little
Oh yeah.
retcons.
Yep.
So I just want to
Yep.
say that when she tells Damon, "You'll die in this place," it reminds me so much of Mira telling Bran, "You'll die in this cave." And if you don't know, I have a theory that I wrote like 3 years ago that Damon is actually the predecessor of Bloodraven, and that the reason that they never find his body at the God's Eye is because he's in the Weirwood, like Bran.
I mean, he did have a werewood. He clearly had a werewood vision, and to me, it seems like he was awake during it. Like just by standing on the roots, that's how he got the vision. Which
Yeah.
I know we saw in the books when Jamie's sleeping on the werewood stump, he has like a werewood dream.
Mm-hmm.
But that's while he's sleeping. And for most people, your third eye is more open when you're like sleeping and unconscious. But to have a vision while you are wide awake, that means you're very magically inclined and in tuned and receptive to that type of thing. So I think you might be onto something, seeing as I mean, I don't know, maybe he gets into
Well,
the trees, like step into the trees of the
You
Isle
think
of
he's going to
Faces.
have a moment like Kevin in Home Alone where he decides he's not afraid of the basement anymore and he's like, I'm not afraid of you anymore.
yeah, I do think that he was actually sleeping though. Like I think he was
Oh, John,
sleeping.
he's sleepwalking.
Yeah, I think he was sleeping, and like as we see, like the weirwood roots are running all through the castle.
Mm.
So you could easily, catch a weirwood dream, but I don't know. I'm and Dark Sister's just right there, laying on the root.
What a
On the
nice
root.
touch. And we all
Oh, I
know
love
who
it.
Dark Sister eventually goes to, and where Dark Sister do we don't see anyway.
No, but we think,
There's no
Yeah.
way he didn't have it on him.
yeah,
He
had
keeps
it.
that thing on him. Blooder even had that thing on him, and by that thing,
Mhm.
That
Dark Sister.
thing
That
being
thing is
Dark
Dark
Sister.
Sister.
Mm.
Oh, we actually have another super chat from Count Velaryon of House Tatters. Thank you. Not as good as last week, but still good.
Oh, should we rate it?
personally-
We never rated.
Ooh. Do we want to rate now or rate later?
Later. It feels more fitting later.
Yeah, I did want to bring up, actually, before I forget, we had a change in the intro. Forgot to mention that. So rather than seeing the death of Lucaris, this time around we see the death of Jaehaerys and the hanging of the rat catchers in the intro of this episode.
Okay, full disclosure, I
So,
skipped the intro.
girl,
Girl,
y'all both did. Look at y'all.
Nobody got no patience for that. Girl.
I did it.
Only one doing homework.
That is not true. Yes, it is.
I'm just kidding. But no, for real, like they changed it this time around, so you guys should like watch it. So I'm assuming they're kind of doing like, you remember how like in the original Game of Thrones, like they kind of changed like the setting by which locations we were visiting.
Yeah.
So I think what they're doing, I thought they were just going to expand like through the events, but now thinking about it, that just become very, very long. So I think just changing the ending part to kind of just like what is relevant towards this episode, I think was a nice touch.
Do you know what I think? I think
What
that
do you think?
metaphorically or literally, I think Helena is weaving this tapestry the whole time.
Oh, can we talk about that scene with Helena and Allison real quick? Sorry to like jump to that, but like I really do want to talk about that since we're talking about dreams and visions and stuff like that. Hold on, let me gear it up.
I'm being shamed for not watching the
Right.
intro. I regret nothing.
As you should. Yeah, Jackie. Shame.
I didn't watch it either, boo. It's okay. We can stand in solidarity of not watching the intro together. Arah is the brightest amongst us.
Oh,
definitely the type A. We're type B AF.
Oh, yeah.
XYZ.
Believe it. Just
my
believe
OCD
it.
only goes so far.
I feel like Helena's like super. She's like an empath. Super empath
She
vibes.
really is.
Helena.
She really is.
If ever there was a time, they're trying to kind of really drive home that she has neurodivergence, that she's neurospicy, or what I really liked about this scene is when she's like, I forgive you, and Alicent was like, forgive me, and Helena's like, yeah, have you met you? Like, I think she was kind of referring to Kristen Cole and Alicent doinking, but I think she's also kind of referring to like, Alicent isn't a good mother. And I think that was Helena's version of being like, I think you're doing what you can.
Yeah, I think
Michael, how dare you?
I think Alicent is the best mother she can be to Helena. Like, I feel like Helena's definitely her favorite child.
I thought it was Aemond until the end of this episode when she's like, you know what Aemond is. And I'm like, yeah, and whose fault is that?
Actually, what is he? What is he? What are you saying?
Do tell this child that you raised. Do tell. Like the way
she mentions with Helena and Jaehaerys. So how she's like, yeah, I'm sad about Jaehaerys, but like she's more concerned for Helena's well-being. But I did kind of want to circle back to what you were saying about the Kristen Cole thing. I find it interesting that one of Kristen Cole and Alicent's dynamics is the fact that the concept of absolution and like the religious like subcontext to their relationship, because he's coming to her as a sinner looking for forgiveness. So I think for Helena to be telling her mom like, I forgive you, which is kind of playing off of the basis of the sexual tension between Cole and Alicent. I find to be a very interesting parallel, and I think that also strikes a chord with Alicent because she kind of like kind of does one of these little like ooh, and like her tears like start to form in her eyes a bit when Helena tells her that she forgives her.
The more I process this, the more I think that Alicent is not
Oh,
only the queen dowager, but she's the queen of cognitive dissonance. Like there's just
yeah. Oh, also, I should
like,
answer
girl,
Michael
look at your
David's
kids and
question.
look at how you parented. Like, yeah, I think she does the best she can with Helena, but at the end of the day, like I think subconsciously one of the reasons she cares for Helena the most is because Helena is one of those people, like, she's happy with her bugs. She's always just been happy to kind of do her own thing. And she's Allison's favorite because Allison has always had to be very low maintenance with her. And that's how negligent parents are in a lot of aspects. Like, oh, that kid that was like, I think she tells herself I have to take care of Helena and this, and that. But realistically, she knows she can be hands off with Helena. And that's why she's the favorite. I'm being harsh on her because this is not in defense of Alicent Hightower night like previous nights. Because she just, the way she
Yeah.
talks about her kids, like it's not her fault. Like, I'm sorry. Like, yes, as adults, we are responsible for how we act on our instincts. We're responsible for that. But it really is the parent's fault of how those instincts develop.
I want to bring
So,
up this comment, and also I kind of still wanted to answer Michael David's question. I am not an earth sign. You kept talking when I was trying to say it. Just wanted to clear that up. I am not an earth sign. I am a water sign, but I have a lot of the air placements. But that's besides the point. Little Wolf Liana, kind of going off of what Alisha was just saying. She also didn't have her mother to teach her. She had Otto, and he wasn't anything good.
I don't care. F her.
No, I think that does play into it because she doesn't really have a matriarchal figure to look up to. I would say probably the closest thing she might have had may have been Aima, maybe, but Aima didn't seem to like her like that either because she probably knew she was up to no good. But I would say that kind of makes sense as to why she likes Helena. I think she sees a lot of herself in Helena. For example, she condemned her daughter into a loveless marriage, like she was condemned to, and condemned her to be a teen mom, just like she was. Helena's just kind of repeating the same cycles, and unfortunately, she has less agency than Alicent, even though she's a dragon rider. But at the same time, like Helena just doesn't care for the politicking. She just wants to just live, have her bugs, and just mind her business. That's all. She just wants to mind her business, and she knows that's not possible.
Yeah. I'm biting my tongue. I have nothing nice to say about Alicent
Oh no, I
in
agree
this
with you.
season.
I personally think Alicent needs to have some accountability for her terrible mothering skills. Also, to tell your grieving daughter, like, yeah, that's sad about your baby that just got his head chopped off in front of you. But I'm more concerned. How are you
That
doing?
was
Like,
that was weird.
it's so tone deaf. It's so tone
She
deaf.
no, and that's the thing too. She just kind of like
I think it's her way of caring for her. Like she
Yeah,
she if you notice, they all refer to Jaehaerys. They only refer to him by his name like one time. They all refer to him as the child, the boy, or the baby. Like they
my
don't
son.
ever
Yeah.
like I don't feel like she really has too much of a
Mm,
connection to him. And then I feel like it is like even in the last episode, she's like when it happened, or yeah, in the last episode, she was like when she's talking to Otto when it first happened, she's like, the child is gone, he's no longer suffering, but what they've done to my poor girl. Like I feel like that it's her way. I'm not ever gonna like be like, Alicent is a good mother. But I feel like because she lost her mother at a young age and she didn't really have her mother, and then her father just like used her to like push his advancement and just
pimped
like
her out.
pop out baby after baby after baby. Like I feel like she wants to protect Helena, even though that she has a fucked up way of doing it. Because why would you ever marry her to Aegon? Why would you do that?
Agreed. Agree with. Thank you for the super chat, HOVU. Helena is her Marcella Lannister.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely see a lot of parallels with
Mhm.
Alicent and Cersei, especially when it comes to their daughters.
Allison
Like,
is like, you know that meme where the dude like turns around and shoots that dude on the chair and he's like, why would so and
who would
so
do
do
this?
this? Yeah, that's Allison.
Yeah.
She brings down a lot of grief on herself and a lot of grief on other people. And while I don't know if she does a whole lot of like blame shifting as much, and I'll give her credit for that, but she does sit back and be like, how did this happen? How did this happen? She's she was annoying in this. She was annoying in this episode, bro.
Yeah.
I don't
Can we
know.
I do want to before I talk to people that sorry, while we're talking about people I really don't care for before we get to the people I actually do care about, can we talk about this scene with Laris and Aegon real quick? They're talking
I'm
about
so sick of
Allison's
him.
terrible
He's such he's
children.
so messy.
I have the
They're
conqueror's a sword and name and his crown, and now I have his armor too. Like, why are you cosplaying? Like,
Also, quit playing in our faces. Aegon the Conqueror was not that short and scrawny.
yeah, I said the
right,
same thing.
right.
Like Emmett had tweeted like about Euron talking about he has this full suit of Valyrian armor and no one in Westeros has it. And I was like, Aegon would have definitely needed the breastplate stretcher because there's no way that he was fitting in this armor. Like the Conqueror, I'm talking about.
It does look
Oh
old.
yeah.
I thought I think the
Well, Valyrian's
concept of
still
the
supposed to
armor
have
is
a
cool. I didn't
black
think it
to it.
was like go ahead, Ara. I'm sorry.
No, no, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Talked over you. That was kind of rude. No, I was saying Valyrian still has a little black to it usually, or it's
Yeah.
supposed to have more of a black type of appear.
It looks dingy
I would
AF
say
though.
this looks kind of it looks kind of dusty compared to Daemon's
Crusty
armor,
and dusty, just like Aegon.
and you look dusty. Like,
Oh,
sorry,
yeah, they're
but
making fun of me about the welders again. Thanks, Carla.
I mean, talking about welding.
That crown is hideous. I'm sorry.
What gets on my nerves is the fact that like you see those empty squares; those are supposed to be rubies. Like
And
rubies
that
are supposed to be filling in those spaces, and it's bothering me like they didn't put that into the budget.
Hear
the
me out. Hear
little
me out.
tiny ruby circle, are we like please be for real?
Are we
I'm
poor?
not as
Are they
pressed. I'm
poor?
not as pressed about Aegon's crown. I bet you anything they did a bunch of like concept stuff. And I bet you
The
anything there would be
concept's not
I don't think
concepting.
they could make it look cool in real life.
What? Have you seen the
In
crowns on the
drawings, yeah.
bro? That could easily look cool.
Nah, I've
We
seen
all know their
cosplay
welders
crowns
are
better
not
than
Yeah,
that.
good.
cosplay
Like
crowns
for
can.
real.
The little teeny ruby is crazy.
I'm not bothered by the crown. I honestly
It's
don't come at
it's
me. No one
bothersome.
come at me. I
Thank you,
didn't
Carrie.
really
Thank you, Carrie. It doesn't look like a crown a conqueror would wear. Thank you.
I
Thank
listen.
you.
It gives me Dragonstone vibes, to be honest. That crown.
It gives me
Yeah,
poor.
Dragonstones was broke. Yeah.
Everything the
It's
Targaryens
hard.
everything that's metal in the show is giving poor. Why are we nitpicking now?
It's the
Like you're
welder.
saying this like we're
Not
surprised.
everything. Not
You're allowed to
everything.
say the whole welding team sucks, and we can't say that the crown
Because
that
I
they
know there's
made
not actually a
sucks.
welding team.
Looks like it's
Rings
3D
of
printed
power
or something.
knockoff.
Oh wait, that was great.
Oh, okay.
Oh, actually, hold on. Somebody mentioned it, and I did want to get into back to this conversation.
Ooh,
I didn't have a
child.
still of Massaria, but I didn't have a still of Massaria and Rhaenyra, but the fact that Massaria and Laris both get handed promotions as Master of Whisperers for their respective camps.
Can I talk about Laris for a second?
Please,
Let's talk
Dragon.
about him, a little scumbag.
So
Yeah,
he is adamantly trying to turn Aegon against Alicent, right? So
and Aemon.
I feel that Laris is to Alicent what Crispin is to Rhaenyra. Like Laris is so scorned that she doesn't want to put her soles of her feet up anymore. And that she's messing with Christian Cole, that he's now he was one of her staunchest allies. he's now trying to turn her son against her.
Do you know what I'm really afraid for her? Eventually, all the men in her life are going to go away, and it's going to be just him and Alicent at the keep. And when I think about it, that might be part of, because Aemond was doing it too. Like, Aemond knew what he was doing when he's sitting across from the table and he's like, I would hate for my brother to have to, endanger himself and fly out. And Aegon's like, yeah, I'm going, and then all of a sudden,
of them.
yeah. And so I think Larys is more subtle about it, and he's trying to push Aegon for action. I do think he's trying to sow the seeds of, like, I think he's trying to sow discourse. All the same, I think he does want Alicent alone. And it does give Lord of the Rings vibes. I think it's in the Two Towers when Wormtongue is talking to Éowyn and she says, leave me alone, Snake. And he's like, but you are alone. Like, it's giving me those vibes.
Yeah.
It's Wormtongue. Yeah, it's Wormtongue.
It's definitely Grima. He definitely gives Grima.
Mm-hmm.
And I highly agree with all of that. I would say with him kind of like isolating Aegon, and how you mentioned, I know we're talking about spoilers here, but I mean, it's about to come up really soon since Rook's Rest is very near and on the horizons. Everybody's going to be gone from King's Landing except Larys, Alicent, Helena, and Aegon. And Aegon's going to be in a stupor, and he's just going to have this guy feeding into his paranoia. I think we're going to kind of see. I'm very interested to see Aegon's descent into like milk of the poppy madness.
Do you think he's going to ask to see Aegon's dogs? His toes?
Oh, girl. I can't take it.
I hope not.
I hope he sucks them. The thumbnails will be crazy.
Oh my God.
I suddenly want this now. I don't want to see it. I just
want to hear about it.
I just want it to happen.
I don't want to see it either. I just want to see the memes that it was drawn.
Ooh, okay.
Oh my gosh. It'd be so gross. All right. Let's start talking about people that we like. I want to get into Mama and Papa for a little bit since we were kind of briefly semi-touching on Rook's Rest.
Do you think it's their last?
Oh, sorry, that's not Mama and Papa. Wrong, Mama and Papa.
That's Papa and daughter.
You know what I meant.
Do you think it might be their last scene together?
I'm thinking that. I'm hoping it's not. I really do hope we get one more. But I did like how one of the big topics of conversation was the succession for Driftmark specifically. So essentially it's Joffrey. Joffrey is the youngest son of Rhaenyra and Laenor, aka Harwin. And that's technically who it's supposed to go to, I guess. Whatevskis. But Rhaenys doesn't feel that way. She wants it to go to Rhaena, who is the daughter of Laena, even though, well, Baela, because Baela would be Jace's wife, so that's why they wanted to go to Rhaena.
Queen. Yeah.
She'd be queen, so that's why they're leaving her out of it. And Corley seems to still stick by his giving it to Joffrey business. And one thing I noticed is everybody keeps shading Rhaena a little bit about this lack of a dragon. And you could definitely tell it's getting to her. And even her grandfather does it here. Like, what does she know about sea power, let alone like dragon power?
He does not care about his grandkids. He's like, I wish her well. I wish her well. But can we talk about like how Rhaena flew Meleys to Dragonstone to bring his lunch? Like brought him bread and stuff. Like she literally brought his lunch to his work site. And he's like super unserious. Like he's in a rush. He's got to go. He's got work to do. But she says like, I think Rhaenyra's going to need you at her side. And she does. She does. Like she doesn't have Daemon. Rhaenys will be gone next week. And she needs Corlys. I know.
Yeah.
But
Rhaenys has given her like the best counsel, and I love how Rhaenys keeps comparing her to Jaehaerys and being prudent. But I also would say the only thing I'm against them on is, unfortunately, the war's already started. No one was gonna peacefully. There's no peacefully like way of going around this. No one's gonna be like, yeah, know what? I bow out. You're right. Here you go. Here's a throne. Like no one was doing that. So I feel like Damon has the right of it, and they're all being a little silly and need to get to making actual plans. But that's just me. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think
Are
as an
Rhaenys
audience,
been?
I think we're supposed to get as restless about the war as the characters in it. And I think it's one of the reasons that we are, Aegon's been crowned. We are 3 episodes into the new season, and we're still just kind of, there was that scuffle at the Burning Mill. Okay, it was more than a scuffle. Like it was a full-on battle. But in the grand scheme of things, because Pooh's about to hit the fan, it was a scuffle. I think it's this buildup, and I think we're supposed to get restless and frustrated too. Like, do something. Do that picture of the person poking something with a stick. But I lost my train of thought because I was. Just go ahead. I'm really distracted right now.
No, you're good. You're good. I did. Since we're talking about Corlys and Rhaenys, I did want to talk about Baela and Rhaena for a little bit in their conversation. So Rhaenyra asks Rhaena to go to the Vale and accompany her sons, Joffrey and Aegon and Viserys. Aegon and Viserys are her little brothers, like biological little brothers. They share a father, Daemon. And she wants them to go to the Vale out of harm's way. They will bring Stormcloud and Tyraxes. Those was it Joffrey and Aegon's dragons to the Vale with them, as well as 4 dragon eggs, which I did not have here. And I wish I had the picture of the eggs, because one of them's clearly going to be mourning, as we know. But the other 3 look like they might be Dany's eggs.
They're
And
her
that
eggs.
thing,
Definitely.
the thing with the cast when they're like, oh, Dany's eggs come from Cyrax, I'm like, I didn't have the picture, but how did y'all feel about that?
I don't mind it. So what they're doing is they're making this show coincide with Game of Thrones. So while this show is its own thing, they want it to fit in the Game of Thrones universe. So the fact that Baela's going to Pentos with a gold egg, a green egg, come on. Like,
but I
thought
guess
she was
my
going
whole
to
thing, I want to know if they always had that planned or they just like pivoted ideas, because why make Dreamfire look exactly like Drogon, Rhaegal, and Viserion?
because Dreamfire is the book parent.
But Arax looks like Dreamfire too. And that's one of Cyrax's babies.
Was R.I.P.
You're so mean.
I was gonna say, I thought she was going to the Vale and they wanted her to write to the person in Pentos, because I thought they were gonna set that up as a later thing for to get the gullet ready.
Well, the thing
they were gonna
is,
just chill in the Vale, then go.
She said, take Joffrey to the Vale, but you need to take the 2 little ones even further than that. Right, Prince Reggio, see if he'll have you, and take them to Pentos.
Does she figure that
essentially
that
we're saying
Aegon and Viserys are going to? Does she figure that the little ones are going to be more welcome in Pentos because they are Daemon's kids?
Maybe, but I think that she thinks that they are irrefutably not bastards.
Yeah. Not putting all of her eggs in one basket as well.
Yeah, and kind of what Liz was saying was just kind of what I was getting to. So they're going to go to the Vale first, then they're going to go off to Pentos. So that Pentos trip is going to set up the gullet. So once we hear back from Reggio or Ruggiero, I probably just butchered his name.
It's like the Perkin Warbeck situation. The Princes in the Tower, where they're like in the series, like in the White Queen. She's like, why would I put both of two? If you had two precious gems, would you put them in the same box? So
Yeah.
it's kind of like that situation. But also, like, yep, she's pulling an Elizabeth of York.
Exactly.
But don't you like how she sends her kids away from war?
Yes.
And then she
Yes,
does a
she
big
does.
sad about it too.
Because Rhaegar
Oh
just
my
left his
gosh.
kids.
Okay, maybe I'm
When hold on.
reaching.
Well, where is it?
Maybe I'm reaching, but the toy that she was playing with, one of either Viserys or Aegon's toys, did it kind of look like not Westerosi? Like, did it kind of look a bit like, how should I say
It was
this?
it was a dragon toy from last week that he
No,
was playing with.
it was like a person with boobies, I'm pretty sure. But like it looked
Oh,
like Essos
okay.
in nature, and honestly, like there was a part of me that was like, I hope that was Viserys's toy, because remember, Viserys is the one that spends all that time, over in Essos, and he comes back and his wife is from Lys, and remember, it was like this big deal because she brought her gods over, including like
Yeah.
a cat woman with mini teats or some crap like that. Yeah. So
Oh, see, obviously we just only saw it once, so sorry we don't have the exact answer. I thought it was a dragon toy he was playing with last week because so for example, my son's sleeping out tonight at his grandpa's house. It's his birthday. Happy birthday, Pops, if you're watching. With that being said, his toys. So like he left like one
Happy
of his
birthday
toys
to our
out.
dad.
happy birthday.
Thanks. Thanks, my dad. But yeah, so Axel left one of his toys out, and when I got home, like it was a toy he was playing with, and I was just like, oh, like nostalgic because it's like, oh, my kid's not here, and I already missed them, type of thing. That's the vibe I was getting from Rhaenyra in that scene was the like, I missed them already, but knowing that is most likely the last time she's probably going to see Aegon and Viserys when you think about it.
She sees
The
Aegon
odds of
again.
sorry, Viserys. That's probably the last time she sees Viserys.
Can we talk about how much Rhaenyra trusts Rhaena?
Yes, literally. She's like,
The
here's
in,
my kids. Here's eggs. Like, here's our future. If all this goes to crap, like it's all on you, big dog.
but see, Bela warded at Driftmark with Rhaenys, and Rhaena has been with Rhaenyra since the Driftmark episode. So I think they have a really close relationship. And I feel like, well, first of all, they're Aegon and Viserys are Rhaena's brothers. They're her half brother, but they're her brothers. They've been raised together. I feel like Rhaenyra trusting her with this speaks volumes to who Rhaena is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
I
I
think
feel bad because Rhaena sees it almost like it's a slight because she's like, well, it's because I don't have a dragon. I don't get to stay in the fighting. Like you get to stay to Bela, and Bela's like, we kind of all have our part to play. But Rhaena has been given a big honor. Like you're taking responsibility of your siblings, yeah, but these are also fellow heirs. And where we just saw Lucerys die, yeah, you're gonna need these heirs,
well, I
Yeah.
think both can be true here. I
and the
think
dragon eggs too.
Rhaena is allowed to be upset because it's a crappy
Yeah.
situation. Like it might be the first time her and Bela have ever been separated as twins. Like, yeah, she'll be with some of her
They've
family.
been apart their whole life. Well, they've been apart.
You're right. You're right. Like she'll be with some of her family, yes, but like she's being sent away from like. Yeah, she wants in on the action, but at the same time, to have to like be elsewhere, being sent elsewhere, be like it's okay. My point is, she's allowed to be upset, but at the same time, it is a huge honor that Rhaenyra is putting so much trust on her. Like, I don't think she's being like obtuse on purpose. It's not like she's trying to miss the forest from the tree. She's not being ungrateful. It's just a crappy situation to be in. She just lost her betrothed.
What Rhaenyra doesn't know is that when Rhaena was in Pentos and her egg didn't hatch. She literally asked Lena, "Are they gonna make me leave because I don't have a dragon like you and father and Bela?" So that's her worst fear, is that she does feel inferior because she is in a family where literally all of her siblings have dragons. Her grandma has a dragon. Her mom was a dragon rider. Like Corlys even says it, like she doesn't know anything about the sea or dragons. Like he says it when he's talking to Rhaenys. So I 100% get why she's upset. I'm just saying that my highlight of the scene is that Rhaenyra trusts this girl with all of this. That relationship must be like, fingers crossed, tightly. They are tight.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I feel like that's well, besides Jace, that might be her second fave.
Yeah.
I mean, of the kids that have left, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
the competition's getting a little thin, unfortunately.
Stop. It's gonna get
People
thinner.
are dying left and right.
Yes, they are. Speaking of people that are dying,
Stop.
this scene.
I'm not ready.
I try.
I'm so glad they got rid of the
sad.
Xenomorph hive. Her hair
Me
just looks
too.
so regal, like a crown upon her head.
It does. And I'm just so sad that this is not going to last that much longer. But let's get into Bela and Rook's Rest real quick before we get into the Alicent and Rhaenyra reunion, because I did want to get into that. First of all, I hate this man. This doofy haircut.
He
looks like a doofus.
He got that hand chain made so fast.
So
Amazon.
He put pressure on the welders. Get it done.
Make this done before tomorrow.
Okay,
listen. He probably went
listen.
to Hugh the Hammer and was like commissioned that, like, yo, I need like a new chain. I need to get some bling. Went to the barber shop, got a new haircut. He's like, oh, we're about to hit the town. Like his armor looks better than Aegon's armor.
Yeah.
If we're gonna be real here.
I agree. Iggy, he is fine.
I feel like that's new chainmail he has under there. I haven't seen it before.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I agree, Mother of Maesters. Wish they would weld him a chastity belt.
Chastity belt. What is the little PP cage? They should put him
the breech cloth or something like that.
Like, get him. No, they're little cages. I'm gonna stop before we get this. We're gonna get flagged.
Like the cup.
No, it's a little cage for your.
Have you ever seen
It's exactly what it sounds like.
Have you ever seen Robin Hood Men in Tights?
Yes.
Not for years.
So you know, like the steel panties she has on.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about. Yeah,
it's kind of like that.
Yeah. He needs it.
He needs to he needs to die. Like, I want him to burn.
He almost burned.
His horse looks stupid.
His horse looks like a unicorn.
It's a unicorn.
It's a PP.
Oh my gosh. Not that little unicorn thing to make it special. Freaking dorks. Like, oh, they're so lame. But know who's not lame? Bela. Bela's not lame. And Moon Dancer.
That little faux hawk Moon Dancer has. I love the way the horns that Moon Dancer has a good design.
And the pattern on his wings and body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wanted Moon Dancer to get him so bad. So bad. So close. So close. Like, get him. Get his ass.
Almost.
I was watching by myself in my apartment, and I found the only 2 times I said something out loud to myself while I was watching it, when she was chasing them. I was like, get his ass. Get his ass. Get his fine ass.
Yeah.
Like, she could have actually burned him once.
You know what? I think too, honestly, if I were in her position, do you know how much damage she could have caused long term by starting that fire in those woods?
I would have.
Yeah.
It would have destroyed too much. It would have destroyed too much, and then it could risk. Well, it could risk the small folk turning against you too. I wouldn't have had the heart to destroy all that land.
I would.
Yeah, not like that.
If Crispin was in there, I would have Dracarys that shit.
Yeah, but it's not like it would have
You know what?
ended the war.
It would have
And
ended
she was
Crispin.
following orders. She was following
Crispy
orders.
Cole.
It would have
Rhaenyra told her not to engage, and she's like, "I didn't engage per se, like 100%."
She messed with them the same way that Aemond meant to mess with Luke before he lost
Yeah.
control of his geriatric dragon.
But she can actually control Moondancer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I didn't have a still of it, but can we just like briefly talk about Aemon's shrimpy shrimp and that brothel scene just very briefly?
First of all, I just need to know, did he walk
Was it cold
all
in
the way
there?
back to the Red Keep like that? Where were his
Yeah.
pants and stuff?
He's so annoying. Like, why are you doing this? This is so unnecessary. Like, go put some clothes on. Like, why
So
are you trying to prove a point?
I was saying like last week in my episode when he was in the brothel, like I'm sorry about that business with Luke. I lost my mind that day. But they teased me when I was little because I was different. Bro, Aegon was the ringleader. He blamed Jace and he blamed Luke, but Aegon was the one. Like Viserys even says when Alicent's like, they're teasing Aemond, and Viserys is like, "Are you sure it wasn't our Aegon? Like, are you sure it wasn't him?" So to see, like, even now you're still getting teased. If you hate Luke that much and you hate Jace that much, then you probably hate Aegon just as much.
It's gearing up for that because I do think
Oh.
that Aemon tried to trick him into going out in the battle. I do. I think the gears are
yeah.
like the wheels are already turning. However, I will say it did remind me a lot when Aegon came in on Aemon and his wet nurse, for lack of better terms. It reminded me of when young Aegon was, wanking it uh, over King's
Oh, and
Landing on
Allison
the
watched
window,
him.
and Alicent comes in and she's like, "Did you do it?" Because like that whole discussion is about how he's so merciless against Aemond, and she tells him, she's like, "I get it. He's your brother. Y'all are gonna fight with each other, but out there, you defend him." And Aegon has never done that because for him to just utterly humiliate Aemond in front of, and here's the thing, he was the only one laughing. Even the other dudes, his little lick spittles, had the sense to be like, this is not.
That's because Aemond owns Vagar, so I wouldn't be laughing at the guy who owns Vagar and has the blue eye just because this guy was doing
Do
it.
you remember when we joked?
Personally.
Do you remember when we joked in after the first episode, or maybe leading up to it, that maybe Aegon gets injured because of friendly fire from Aemond?
Yeah, that's looking very plausible.
Yeah,
After
it's
that,
not.
this scene.
They're setting him up to just not. He's gonna turn on him, which will become very easy over time. But
I was gonna say, you were reminding me when we talked about Aemond kind of like goading Aegon. It reminded me of Cersei with Robert when she's like, "Oh yeah, you shouldn't compete in the melee. We can't risk you, blah blah blah." And he's like, "Get the breastplate stretcher." Like, I
get
want
the
to
breastplate stretcher. Yeah.
Like, I
No,
wanna fight. Like, it's the same thing. They did the same thing. He took, like, Cersei took a page out of Aemon's book or vice versa. But I did want to say, yeah, I understand why Aemon hates Aegon because he bullies him non-stop. And the fact that he's like, yeah, there's this old lady, like, she's cool, like, for her first time. Like, it makes me wonder how many people did Aegon personally bring to that specific woman, like, hey, yo, this is like your thing is taking their V cards, so I got a new one for you. But
do
she's like
you have
Shelob or
Freudian
something.
issues? Well, do I have the woman for you?
Her name's Celise or something.
Like
It's
to
Stacy's
clown him
mom.
like that is crazy.
Stacy.
Like, I'm sorry, clowning your brother like that is crazy.
That's all
Honestly,
he
I
does.
cackled too. I was cackling right along with Aegon. I ain't nothing either. I'm nothing either.
But you're not his brother. You're not his brother.
I'm not his
I
brother.
thought it was funny too, but like I'm not his brother. I'm not his sister.
I would have laughed.
You
If that was
think
my
that would?
little
Oh,
brother,
okay.
I would have
As
laughed.
a
I would have
sibling,
been
that is really
dying if that was
instinctual.
my little
Like my
brother.
brother,
Dying.
listen. I will complain about my brother till the
Tears.
cows come home. I don't let anybody even so much as like look at my brother weird. like
Right.
all, and
I'm
that's
like Damon with Viserys, where like he's like
mhm,
with Corlys, and he's like, "I'll talk about my brother as I wish. You will
mhm,
not."
yeah.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
like
I
if I
don't
seen
know.
some shit, I'd just pretend I didn't see it. I'd run away. I'm
Dang,
not gonna sit there and
Allison
Yeah,
really sucks at this. She can't even raise kids that like each other.
bro. Cersei
yeah,
would
I'm not gonna
never
lie.
allow Cersei. Like, okay, speaking of Cersei, she would never allow Joffrey in the middle of the war to be out in a brothel with the Hound and some of his boys. He didn't even have any friends, bless him. But he would she would have never allowed that type of shit. Like, I don't get it.
Never. I was gonna say maybe I'm just a piece of poop, but no, I think just the whole concept of like I'm drunk, girls' night out, or for Aegon, dudes' night out.
Let's go
Like, yo,
have
bro, we're about
sex.
to
Yeah.
you're about to get, you know what I mean? My boy's about to have. And then it's like you walk in and the girl you was gonna bring him to is sleeping with your brother, and your brother's like butt ass. And it's like and you didn't even know your brother got down like that because it didn't seem like he thought like Aemond was into that. So it's like, yo, what are you doing here? Oh, people. Like you see this guy
It
doing
felt
here?
a little
Like
more merciless than all that. He was
that's the reaction I would have had, which would have been like, "What are you doing? Like you're bad naked with this prostitute." Like I don't know. Maybe I'm just mean big sister or something. I just would have thought that was hilarious to see my
I'm
brother in
not
that
trying to see
state.
my brother naked like that. I'd be like,
Oh, I don't
ah!
want to. I mean, I mean, the fact that Allison walked in on him just yanking it and like was like not that phased by it. I'm
Yeah,
assuming that is something. And then Helena walked in on Allison sleeping with Cole again, not that phased by. I think they're just very comfortable with each other. And I
trash.
mean, his brother and sister do it and have children, so I think like nudity amongst siblings isn't that big of a deal for them, unfortunately.
When are we gonna
Ugh.
get to the last scene?
Yeah, we can get to it. You guys want to talk about it?
Yes, we've been waiting.
Yes. I have thoughts. Hold on.
I have
Don't worry.
thoughts
Getting
too.
there. Sorry, I was trying to remember where I put it. Eek. Oh,
Okay,
sorry,
can I
guys.
say she was kind of one thing I really think is hilarious about the way they set up the costumes in this. Anytime a Targaryen is in disguise, they can't help themselves but to show a little bit of their silver hair coming through. They did it with Daemon a couple episodes ago. They did it with Rhaenyra when she was dressed as a boy when she was younger last season. Like they just anyway, I think she looked good in this. But leading up to this, I'm not going to lie. I thought to myself, like, is this going to be the most unnecessary, dumbest scene ever? It felt so out of like, there were so many elements, and I realized I'm being nitpicky. I'm like, so you mean to tell me this? She just got away with this, just writing in this little.
Eyebrows. Eyebrows is standing right behind her. If you don't remember Eyebrows, that is the
I
same. I'm calling her Eyebrows. I don't know her real
Emma
name. But
Stone,
Eyebrows, yeah, from Little Things, Poor Things. Sorry, I
poor
forgot the
things,
name. My bad.
yeah.
Poor
Bella
Things.
Helena's
Yeah.
Baxter.
handmaiden.
Yes,
Laris'
Helena's
hope.
handmaiden. Laris's little spy. She's literally in this shot right behind Rhaenyra. You know she clocked that. You know she clocked that. So when no, what's gonna happen? She's gonna go tell Laris, and Laris is gonna run and go tell Aegon, like, hey, by the way, your mom was meeting with Rhaenyra, and she didn't even tell you to sow more of that paranoia between him and Allison. Like he'll probably do it in a more subtle way than I'm doing it, but best
Now let me
believe.
see your feet.
Oh, so Emily Christina saying that is Alinda. That didn't really look like Alinda
That's
that
not
much to
Alinda.
me. Because that Alinda's eyebrows aren't that striking. That girl had very distinctive eyebrows.
Alinda has like brown, reddish hair, like brownish red hair.
And I know there's like a shots of Alinda in King's Landing and like a reddish colored hood from like the trailers,
I'm scared
but
for
that
her.
wasn't in this episode. I mean, she at least makes it to the end with Rhaenyra.
I didn't even realize eyebrows was back there.
I didn't notice it either. Not my first.
I didn't notice when I watched it. I noticed it when I pulled the still, and I was like,
Maybe
and that's
maybe they ran out of
that's
extras budgets.
and that King's Guard next to her. That's why did I just say Marbrand? Am I wrong? What is his name? He was one of the ones that Daemon intimidated last season.
I was gonna say one of the ones that Caraxes got in the face and was like,
and the knee. Somebody in the chat. I know y'all got it. But,
his brother's like the Lord of Duskendale.
So not a Marbrand.
Darkland. Thank you, Stefan Darkland. There it is, girl. Look at that teamwork.
When are we gonna get red shirt?
Whenever Maelor decides to be born.
Yeah.
Come on, quick, Maelor. Anyway, no, Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, this is the only shot I have for this scene. I'm just throwing that out there because, again, I did not have that.
What if I just had a theory? What if Alicent actually does have the kid and she passes it off as Helena's kid, and it's actually Maelor is actually Alicent's kid?
Why would she do that?
Oh, see, I was thinking you were gonna say he's one of I thought you were gonna say he's one of.
Why would Rhaenyra do this?
I'm sorry, it served the purpose at the end. I'm just telling you.
I was saying if he was one of Aegon's little things floating around in Flea Bottom, because figure they don't have a boy heir, and they're very like, we can't give it to a girl. And after Rook's Rest, Aemon. Oh my god! It just dawned on me.
Give it to us.
We're here. We're having a moment.
Okay, yeah, come on.
So Rook's Rest.
Yes.
We know that after Rook's Rest, sorry, this is major spoilers. Aegon physically cannot have children anymore.
Yeah,
just due to the physical damage. It's done. It's done.
They
his
put
sex
it in a
S
cage.
is gone.
Yeah.
Karma. Anyways, he physically cannot have any more children. If he physically cannot have any more children, and as of now, he only has a girl, and they're like, we need another boy to kind of shore this up a little bit. Aemond and Helena pulling a other Boleyn girl movie version, because I don't think Anne Boleyn in real life had sex with her brother, but for this circumstance, movie version of that.
Oh, Aemond gives,
and that's how we get Maelor, and they pass it off as if it was like, oh, they conceived it before Aegon had his accident. But
I'm laughing because I can totally see it happening, because this is such a weird freaking family.
They're a weird family, and it's like, because like figure if their biggest thing was like, well, we can't pass the throne to a girl, and he can't have any more children. His heir's Aemond. Is that what they want? Aemond is. It's like giving it to Daemon. It's like it's a full circle. It's a full.
Well, I do think that Alicent is going to try to push for that'll be her like attempt at peacekeeping. Like maybe you should give it to one of Rhaenyra, like one of the legitimate ones. And he's not going to be having it. But I do want to say the Kingsguard next to her, Darkland, weird thought I was having. He must have like done, is it called body acting? Like physical acting, where you're not speaking, you just like, act with he really convinced me that he was like this martial person trying to, trying to pretend he was a Septon and all that other stuff. Like I was sold on it. But I will say, leading up to when she goes into the Sept, I really thought this was going to be stupid. I did change my mind once the scene came along. When she got into the Sept and her and Alicent started bickering with each other.
That was so funny though.
I felt like it was a necessary scene. I just feel like there are certain mechanics that could have been done better. It was getting her there felt sloppy to me. But once she was like there in the Sept, I did like the scene.
Yeah, I like kind of the doubt that she seated in Alicent in their discussion when they talked about the Prince That Was Promised prophecy.
And she realized she made a huge mistake and then decided to do the cognitive dissonance thing again.
Yes. So I was going to ask, did you guys read that as well, as that was more like she realized she might have had her wires crossed? Because Rhaenyra's like, once Rhaenyra's like, wait, Prince That Was Promised, A Song of Ice and Fire. And then she was like, asked Alicent the right question where she's like, no, you don't know what he's talking about. And the
Mhm.
last thing I wrote, and I know Rhaenyra was thinking, one of the last things I asked my dad was about if that was true. So
Mhm.
if he answered right before he died that that was true,
Mhm.
that message was for me. I think she Rhaenyra in that moment realized that was a message meant for me, not meant for you, because I
I
just asked my
agree with
dad that,
that.
and
Alicent
my
knew it too.
dad
Yep.
wasn't
Yep.
lucid,
I think
and
it
that's when she
confirmed
realized it
it. I
too.
think it confirmed it when Alicent looks at her and she's like, Aegon the Conqueror. And she's like, like that's when Rhaenyra is like, now you got to undo this. And then, Alicent went, she realized her mistake. You could see it. And then she went right back to, no, there was no mistake. And then she was like, what do you want me to do? Like the gears are already in place. Like people have already steamrolled me, da 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 da. Like she girl boss too close to the sun. This is what she gets. She put all of this in motion. I realized she misinterpreted what he said, but he was like, dude was so puffed up on Milk of the Poppy. You really took that. You really took that and you ran with it. She heard what she wanted to hear. She realized she made a huge mistake and she can't backtrack it now.
Um,
I
oh yeah, go girl.
normally
Cook.
don't defend Allison, but she definitely didn't put this in motion. This has been in motion since before Rhaenyra was married to anyone, since before Rhaenyra had children. This has been in motion since the day that Aegon was born. So,
Oh, Otto.
right. And not even Otto, but the entire council, with the exception of Lord Beesbury. So, if Alicent didn't agree to it, then she just didn't agree to it. There's nothing she could have done to stop it. Did she say the king said he changed his mind? Like, please. Otto never bought that for a minute, which is basically what he told Aegon last week. Like when Aegon's like, he made me king. Because Aegon did believe it because she told him.
I think she did actually believe it for a bit, or she wanted to believe it. I don't think like part of her probably was skeptical, but I think a part of her was like, know what? She clung to it as a justification for the wrong that she knew she was doing. Like, like people like if you do something wrong, you know what you're doing is wrong, but you find some really weird, deluded like justification and be like, well, because of this one little instance, I might be in the right. I think that's what that was for her. But I was gonna ask you guys, do you think her and Cole are gonna talk about Cole being with Rhaenyra when he saw the White Heart? And
No.
then her,
He
you know,
never admit that.
yeah, you're right. But then what gets on my nerves though is the fact that Allison in this scene, it's funny because it kind of happened like back to back. Otto in last episode realized, damn, Viserys was right. This kid does blow. And
Yeah.
then Allison in this episode realized, damn, I was wrong. I was really wrong. And you know what? Otto was right, and Viserys, his kid does blow. So it's kind of interesting that their candidate for Team Green stinks. They don't even like him. They
Mm-mm.
don't. They don't even believe he's good at it. Yet they're going to set this country into turmoil
Question.
by somebody they don't actually support.
Do
It's
you
very
think
interesting.
that if Otto was still Hand of the King when Rhaenyra came to King's Landing, Alicent would have stood a little bit of a chance trying to undo things?
Mm,
Mm,
yes.
Because
yeah,
because Otto was very disillusioned by Aegon
Yeah,
after
that's
the
the
rat
main
catchers.
reason. That's the
Yep.
main
if
reason.
he
But
didn't get
Yep.
fired, if he didn't get
Yeah.
fired after that, like that whole thing that happened minus the firing, or say he got fired and then Aegon woke up and was like, "Ha, just kidding, Grandpa. Like, just go get your pen, go back to your room. I was just playing." Like, if it
Mhm.
was like that, then probably. But I think it's just too deep, especially after the Battle of Burning Mill. It's like it's we're in deep. We're in
yeah, I
way too
mean,
deep here.
both of them have lost children too. Like Luke's dead.
Yeah.
Jaehaerys
She
is
lost a
dead.
grandson. She don't care about. Okay, she cares about him. She just
But Aegon,
predominantly cares about Helena.
but
Yeah.
Aegon cares about him.
Yeah. I know I started out this
Aegon's the only one
episode
who
being
does.
like, I'm going back and forth. I don't know how I'm going to feel. But by the end of it, I'm just so frustrated with Allison. And I realize like she just a lot was put on her lap in the blink of an eye. She needs to go process it. And what I will say about Alicent is like she's pretty good at processing after the fact, even if she handles things poorly in the moment. You know?
So to me, the idea of the scene is a good idea. I didn't hate it. I actually liked it. So I liked it because I feel like Rhaenyra needed to hear that. I feel like Rhaenyra doesn't think like Rhaenyra knows Alicent and Alicent knows Rhaenyra. And I don't think that Rhaenyra thinks that Alicent is capable of saying that her father, like betraying her father in the last. Like she had just told her, you know, you'll be a good queen, you'll make a fine queen. Like she had just told her that. So I think a part of Rhaenyra was like, did he really change his mind? Because he never really answered my question.
Well, she
Like,
believed it for a brief moment because Alicent and I did like the line. I can't remember exactly how she said it, but she's like, "Yes, I've had my moments when I've been unkind, but have I been dishonest?" You
right. And
know, and Rhaenyra was
she
like,
swore her
"Holy
mother.
crap," you know? So, I mean, it
No, but I think Rhaenyra's trip there was more of, I don't want this war. I don't want this bloody war. I don't want the dragons fighting each other. But at the same time, I need to know, I need Alicent to look me in my face and tell me that my dad changed his mind.
yeah.
Because if she did, like, if she may have, like, she may have went ahead and not gone through with what she's going to do.
I
But when,
think if the Prince I Was Promised part wasn't dropped,
yeah,
if that she didn't mention that
Rain,
at all,
Rhaenyra might have like tried to get some different terms. She might have surrendered.
Do you think that Alicent somehow, now that we know, I do love the show. I think it's handled way, way, way better than Game of Thrones was. I think for the most part, I'm a big Ryan Condal fan, but it's not beyond this show to do silly things. Do you think somehow Alicent is gonna be not toying with the dagger, but she's gonna have the dagger and somehow she's accidentally gonna see it in the fire and keep that crap to herself?
Oh,
Like, do you think she's gonna
no,
see the writing in the
I don't think
I don't think it'll
Rhaenyra
mean
would have
anything to her
given
because
her all
she doesn't
that.
speak or read Valyrian, does she? Yeah.
so far,
You're
just
right.
So look like a
Rhaenyra
bunch of gibberish.
and Jace a little bit. He's learning.
Aemon speaks
Yeah.
it,
But
Oh
I
yeah,
like.
Aemon speaks it.
but
I
he went out of
feel.
his way to.
I feel like I could have not had this scene and had more time in Winterfell. Like, but I feel like what they're trying to do is build up how catastrophic going to war with dragons is, and how, like, y'all have turned my babe into a septa, sneaking through King's Landing, begging Alicent in the sept to not go to war. Like, please.
One thing I will
A
say that
lot.
I like that Rhaenyra keeps bringing up is how she's like, if she's like, nothing's more destructive than obviously a battle between kin, but it's like once the dragons start fighting each other, we are essentially inviting our own destruction, and inevitably she is right. This is the death of the dragons until Daenerys brings them back, essentially. Like
The high,
they
but
never rebound from this.
that's the thing. The High Towers don't care about the dragons, and even
Oh
though
no, they
Aemon,
don't care at all. But I'm talking
even
about for
though
Rhaenyra,
like,
why she's
oh
hesitant
yeah,
in
yeah,
that
yeah,
sense.
no, but see, Rhaenyra's miscalculating that they care.
Yeah.
Aemond and Aegon, I feel Helena probably cares just because of the type of person she is, like the animals, like she seems like she would care. The rest of them, they don't care. Like they weren't raised as Targaryens really. They were raised as Hightowers.
Yeah.
Otto, the council, none of them care about the dragon.
Right down to them taking like green. Like they all wear green. It's
Green and gold. Like it's disgusting.
yeah.
I can't wait for
Like
Rhaenyra to take King's Landing and have Alicent as her prisoner. I live for these.
Oh, you know
episodes.
what? This is definitely. I do think it's the last time they're going to see each other
I hope they
until
kiss. They're gonna kiss.
lesbian.
Do you think Allison's gonna say when she says you killed my son? Do you think Allison's gonna say bastard blood shed at war? Do you think she's gonna say it in the show?
If she does,
not.
it's gonna be very like knowing the way they write her. She'll spit it out really angrily and be like, "That was beneath me."
I'm so sorry.
You know.
Yeah. Not bad. I was just tripping. You know how I get sometimes.
Do you really think Misa is capable of such deceit? Yeah,
I'm
but
still
I
so
could have.
mad at her by being like,
could have
you
done
know
without
what
the
Aemond
scene.
is.
I could have
Shut
done
up,
without the
it's a
scene,
hero.
honey. I could have done without it.
I liked
I had
it.
mixed feelings on it. I'm very mixed feelings on it. I'm interested to see how is Rhaenyra gonna get out of there.
The skiff.
That's
The boat's still waiting for her.
We're
to
not
take her
gonna
on
know.
back.
We're not gonna know.
I don't
Where
because I'm like
gonna
that's
she's gonna be in
how's she gonna get out?
Dragonstone in the next episode. When we turn it on, she'll be at her war council. We're never gonna know
Probably.
how she got out of there.
No, I'm just like, how did she get back without anybody spotting her?
Somebody
What
on
did her
Twitter said
Kingsguard-
it's stupid,
Oh, go ahead.
like the white hunt beyond the wall. Stupid. The scene.
Yeah, it's feeling kind of like logistically. All right, why would Rhaenyra? First of all, she's afraid to let Jace go out. Girl, why are you going out?
Yeah.
Because it's different when I think a lot of you're a mother, you would put yourself at risk before you would ever put Axel at risk. You know,
Yeah,
even if
you're
it's
right.
something
But
really
at the same time, if we're at war and it's my claim that we're fighting for, me and my son are staying at home because we're already at war. I wouldn't.
she's
be
thinking
sitting here
ahead, she
doing all
doesn't want to
this.
lose any more sons. She
No,
just
I
sent her
understand that,
king,
but
or she just sent
we're
her
different
sons
people.
away. Because remember, when she was
You
putting the
asked me
toys
what I
away.
would do, and I'm saying Rhaenyra and I
Mm.
are different people. I wouldn't even be trying to make peace. I would have
Yeah.
I would have had Cyrix ate Otto the minute he stepped on my property after my daddy died. That's the type of person I am.
Yeah.
We are not the same.
I'm
This would have
just
been truly,
saying,
but this war would
yeah.
have been done if I was Rhaenyra. Just throw that out there. This would have been
If I was
finished
Rhaenys,
already.
I would have ended it in the Thunderdome. No, but I think the
Just take the
perspective she's
short.
thinking from, she lost a son. She just had to send the rest away, including one of her stepdaughters. And while she's like playing, putting their toys away, she comes across that letter from Alicent. And I think where her mind is like, yeah, she wants to she's thinking as a queen. She's also thinking as a mother. Like, she doesn't want to lose any more sons. If they start busting out with battle and dragons, she's going to lose her sons, and she knows it. So
yeah. Well, unfortunately, war is here, and cats and dragons are out of the bag.
Yeah.
But how did you guys feel about because we've been here for a while, so how do you guys overall thoughts on the episode? How are we rating this episode, I guess?
So at first, when I first watched it, I was like, yeah, one of the best ones so far. But then when I rewatched it and I rewatched the other ones, I think it's the worst one so far, but it had really good moments. Like, it had really good strong parts, but I didn't really like the pacing of it. I didn't really like, I don't know, it seemed kind of off. Like, if you break it up individually, like scene by scene, I like it, but when you watch it as a whole, it's definitely not the strongest of the season. Maybe like the weakest of the season, but still good. Like, still an 8.
mm-hmm.
But weakest of the season so far.
I thought it was good. It's just there were a lot of moments that really probably shouldn't have taken me out, but did. For me, it was I actually did like, and I enjoy that we're all sides of the spectrum. I liked it. MJ didn't like it. Arah's kind of half and half, kind of there's good and bad out of it. I liked that scene. I just hated what got her there. To me, it was sloppy. It completely took me out of the episode in a lot of ways. And I know this is petty. The other thing that is on par with what took me out of the episode was Alice Rivers. you're gonna die. And it was the delivery. I think the actress is gonna like absolutely blow it out of the water, but that introduction just completely womp womp for me.
Bro said after 3 episodes, it's time for battle. We've been patient. You didn't get your first battle in Game of Thrones until you were like 19 episodes in, I think. Battle of Blackwater.
But
you're like 3 episodes. Battle. Anyway.
Yeah.
I would give this episode oh, go ahead.
No,
your rating.
7.8.
I'd say for me, I have mixed feelings because there were things I like really, really enjoyed. I love that we got more Bela and Rhaena a lot, actually. I really enjoyed that we got more of them this episode. I liked the Corlys and Rainey scene. I loved all the stuff at Harrenhal a lot because I like magic stuff. So as a book nerd, that was like needed that. Needed that a lot.
Harrenhal definitely saved the episode.
Oh, Harrenhal gave it major brownie points. I would say I'm kind of in the same feeling. The scene with Alicent and Rhaenyra, I like what resulted out of it, like the results of it, like Alicent getting that doubt, Rhaenyra getting that confirmation. I liked that. I think that could have been done probably differently. How? Not quite sure. I'm not even sure if we actually really needed all that either. Personally, I feel like they kind of struggle a little bit with trying to justify people's like causes for doing things or like making things like miscommunications or just trying to make people better than they should be because a lot of people in the story are just scumbags, honestly, and are drunk on power and are terrible people. And I think it's okay to let some of these characters just be bad people. And I think that's kind of where this scene got away from things for me because I feel like it was just a way of like shoehorning in like, look, they're really not bad people. Just look at the situation that they're in. They really want to make peace when it's like the time for peace is done. Like this should have been done at this point. Like I don't know. I'd say for me, probably like like 7.9, under an 8, just under an 8.
Yeah, barely.
And literally the only reason it's just under an 8 is that Rhaenyra and Alicent scene for me mostly because the Harrenhal stuff I loved a lot, and Bela and Rhaena, like that stuff, you gave a lot of weight to the episode for me. And the Blackwood and Bracken stuff, I like a whole lot too.
I feel like the episode actually suffered because Otto was not in this episode, and I'm sorry. Like I don't like him, but he slays. He slays.
His performances.
He does. He does
in the
enrich
last
an
2 episodes. After episodes 1 and 2, I think that might have been it too. He was so amazing in episodes 1 and 2. It definitely felt like something was missing. And I think it might have just been him. I think that's probably what it was.
Yeah.
On top of everything.
Well,
and that's the episode, guys.
Yeah, so we'll be back for next week. Yeah. All right, guys, we're heading out. Have a good night. We'll see you next Sunday. Check out Gray's breakdown on her channel.
Yay.
All right, bye.
Bye.
bye.